What is up, guys? It is Brandon, and this is Tuesday's commentary. So a little background behind this commentary. I actually did not come up with this. This story. This is a real story. It's just my friend was like, we were talking about commentary ideas because he's one of the few people that actually knows that I do YouTube. And so he was like, you know what? I have this story. It happened to me 2 summers ago. Pretty interesting. I thought it was pretty hilarious. uh, it has to do with his cousin and his hot best friend. Yes, I said it. His cousin and his hot best friend. So, here it goes. 2 summers ago, his cousin was coming down from, his cousin came up from South Texas or wherever he lives, and he went to my really good friend's house, and his best friend was also there, and this girl was a solid 10 on the list, like on the hotness scale. She was a solid 10, and my friend's pretty chubby, and he always had a crush on her, but nothing really ever happened with that. So what happened is, I guess she really liked his cousin, and they decided to hook up at his house. And I mean, they did it in the most bizarre places. She gave him head out on the trampoline, and then that's not even the fun. It's not even the funniest part. I can't even really say this without laughing, but she did it multiple times in one day. She did it, I think he said, about 3 times in one short period of time. But like, dude, he didn't rest at all, and I guess they didn't get any rest in between these little hookup sessions out on the trampoline. So overall, I thought that was pretty funny, and that's just that's just the beginning of it. Later at night, I'm talking like the rest of the day, he was like, he found out and he was like, "Are you serious? Are you kidding me? Like, why are you doing this in my house with my best friend out in my yard on my trampoline?" And the biggest insult there was that later, like, I'm talking the early hours of the morning, they took it to his bedroom when he was sleeping. So, they're watching TV for a couple hours, I guess, and what he did is he was like, "Wow, you're a super douchebag." And right after he got done talking to him about that, he, it was late, and I guess that's when he figured out, was like later on in the day, that this actually happened. So he was pissed off at both of them, and then so get back to the story. Later that night, it was like 4 in the morning, he said, and they were all watching a movie. The movie, ended. They were all tired, and I guess they were both spending the night. His cousin and her were both spending the night. So they were like, you know what? After he falls asleep, we're gonna have even more fun. So what they did is they started to strip quietly as he was trying to fall asleep. So I was like, I don't see what's wrong. You didn't know you were about to fall asleep anyways. So the next thing that he told me was, this is where I thought it really got funny. They're both sitting there naked under, like on his floor. He's laying in his bed, and they're laying right next to his bed on the floor. Both of them are getting naked, and she starts going at him again, like they did on the trampoline, giving him some more dome, and after that they basically continued with what they were doing, and my friend woke up and he was like, "What's happening?" So he was just like laying there in the dark. He knew what they were doing. He knew about it the whole time since later that night. He knew what they'd been doing, and he didn't think that they would keep doing it since it made him mad. What they did next was unlike anything I have ever heard before. I thought this was hilarious, weird, uncalled for, bizarre, and pretty gross at the same time. You know, after this best friend, who was a girl, did his cousin a favor, he decided to return the favor. He was slurping on her, and after all this, he decided to finger blast her. Yes, he was finger blasting her on the floor. She was moaning and groaning and screaming for more while he was laying there right next to them. I don't understand why this would happen in the first place, but it it was happening, and what happened what actually made him notice that these two were doing this, what actually made it real, was that, about like 10 minutes later, you hear, "Ah!" And then he heard, like, water splash, like, hit his bed. So, he turned over, I guess he grabbed his phone from the charger, like, nearest light source, and he shined it on his bed. And this girl had squirted all over his gray sheets. Yes, his gray sheets. That is the worst color ever to get, a liquid on, because it stands out like Helen Keller in a mall. It just stands out. There's just something not right about it. So he was like, "What is this, guys?" And they were like, well, he heard the moaning and everything, and he was like, "I know what this is." So him and his cousin were both looking at each other like, "Dude, smell it. Clean it up. What are you doing? Get this off my gray sheets." So these two continued to argue about it, and finally he got his cousin to smell it, because they were both denying that it ever happened. So he made him smell it, and he was like, "Oh, gross." So at that point he knew what they had been doing in his room, right next to him while he was trying to fall asleep, and even after he had woken up. So he said, even to this day, after that, him and her stopped talking, and today, actually, in one of my classes, he texted her, and he was like, "Remember that summer when you squirted all over my bed?" She never replied to him, and I guess it did kind of ruin things with his cousin also, because I guess after that he doesn't talk to his cousin much anymore, because he was like, "Dude, that was my best friend, I liked her and everything." But I still thought this was a pretty funny story to tell you guys, and I hope you guys found that interesting. We both have a lot more funny stories of school and, funny stuff outside of school, but I'm gonna save that for, later commentaries when, I think that, it's needed. I have a lot of funny stories, actually, just stuff growing up, places I've been, things I've done, things I've seen, we both have some pretty funny sex stories. We've never had sex, but it's like sex-related stories between like him and friends, and other funny stuff like this. So that basically rounds up today's commentary. Hope you guys like it. Sid enough. Well, I told him to make a Skype account, and we're gonna do a dual comm. We might actually try to add these two people on Skype, his cousin and this girl, to see if they'll talk to each other for us. Might do a commentary with them or something without them knowing. Just asking them questions about it and stuff like that. But, that's today's commentary, and that's basically all I have, guys. So, well, this is I'm ending this early, so I guess I'll just sit on the mic for another 45 seconds until this ends. This video's like 10 minutes and 1 second. Also, I'm going to be doing commentaries with my good friend Wade. My friend that this happened to, his name's Kyle. I'll be doing stuff with him. We might be doing some face videos. We have some funny stories. We actually wanted to do a new spoiler alert thing. Like, he knows how to see all the movies early because one of his parents works at the, the box offices. So he gets to see all these movies early, and well, we're basically gonna do spoiler alerts after we see these movies, and hopefully ruin these movies for you guys. So, my name is Brandon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Peace out.